Hey to all those seeking vibrant health. It's Dr. Rachel Northern, and I'm doing my detox presentation, purification program. I usually run this twice a year, so spring and fall. I think those are the best times to take a break from all your unhealthy eating, or take a break to help you reset your body, help like cleanse out your life, cleanse out your liver, and just rejuvenate your whole system. So I'm going to talk about it. So fall 2021, we're going into the season. Usually about every September we do this, and then also in the spring. So why? So the big why, is why should we do this? So we got some audience members like watching me on their phone. So thank you. Why? So why now? Why me? So the why. Why, I'm going to go into the slides later of just over the accumulation of the last 100 years of our cultures. We've pretty much made ourselves more exposed to toxins. We have more pollutants in our water, more pollutants in our air. We have more pollutants surrounding us. And at the end of this presentation, there will be opportunity. You can go online and do like a questionnaire to see how toxic you are, like what kind of symptoms you're expressing that could possibly say how toxic you are. So we've accumulated this. So why now? Why this time of year? Well, fall for me is always after summer, after barbecues, after all that fun. I always feel like blah. It's like, for me, it's just a good time to just reset and re-cleanse. Also spring, the same thing. It's like after Christmas and Thanksgiving and, all the winter blahs and comfort food, spring's a good time to rejuvenate. Also, that's a good time for just organ rejuvenation in the Chinese medicine world as well. But fall is really good for this program. I've had really good success with lots of patients during this time to do this, and really people are motivated to do this as well this time. So why you? Well, think about this last 4 or 5 or 2 years. How much comfort foods have you consumed? How many things have you been exposed to that could cause just bad stuff to happen? Bad stuff in your body, bad stuff outside. So, why you? Why me? Everybody looks at me as like, but Dr. Rachel, you're so skinny. But Dr. Rachel, you're healthy. And I'm like, yeah, I am healthy. I do try to eat this diet that I'm recommending through the purification throughout the year, but I am human too, and I've indulged in some cocktails for celebrations and some sugar and all those other things. So I do that too, probably not as extent of the average American, but I've indulged in that, and I know when I go through the purification, it just makes me feel better. I have more energy. I just less lethargic, and a lot of things go on for me. So why me? That's why. So I've been doing this twice a year for about, I've been in practice 18 years now, and I think I've done it at least for the last 10 years, if not 15. I know I did it at least one time a year for the first couple years in practice. And back then, oh my gosh, it was awful. The powders were awful. Like you had to doctor them up. And now Standard Process, the company I like, that does a real good job of doing whole food, real natural foods, no artificial stuff in it. They've come a long way to make it more palatable and more, more enjoyable, and actually easier to actually do this program. So that's another reason why now. So one of the reasons why now is, are you living in a burning house? So are you inflamed? Are you in pain? We had do you suffer from any of heart disease, diabetes, like the common things that we're experiencing in our country right now and for the last several decades? These are the top things that kill us in America still yet today. We still have 1 out of 4 people die of heart disease. We have cancer that's on the rise. Obviously we can't prevent accidents too much. You can't do the best you can, but all these other things, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, respiratory, a lot of these are lifestyle choices. Do you choose to smoke? Do you choose to vape? Do you choose to put, bad foods in your mouth, lots of sugar, high sugar diets. Or people think, well, I don't eat like sugar straight, like take a teaspoon of sugar, but most of the foods you're consuming, if you look at the labels, probably have a lot of sugar if you look at the sugar content in them. Or high fructose corn syrup, which is another form of sugar. That's even harder on the liver than sugar. So, this is the standard American lifestyle. We, have all these things that are artificial sweeteners, artificial oils that have been created. We put topical things on our skin that absorb into our bloodstream. We have more chemicals underneath our kitchen sink than chemistry lab back in the 1950s has said. So we have all these chemicals in our households that we are being exposed to. I also like to talk about like candles, those air fresheners, because anything we inhale also goes straight into our lungs as well. Our lungs are and our bloodstream. So anything we put on our skin goes in our bloodstream, anything we inhale goes in our bloodstream. So there's a lot of ways we're being exposed. So I have a list of like the toxins that are going on. We have, refined foods. So refined foods is just pretty much broken down to pretty much sugar. But a lot of times refined foods have the artificial coloring, sweeteners, and preservatives. Everything that goes into our body has to process and repackage to get out. And if it's a non-food, which is artificial sweeteners, all that liver's responsibility to take care of those things and get rid of them. And sometimes it just gets clogged up in that filter, our liver, that's like our car filter. And fast food, trans fats, GMOs, which is genetic modified organisms, which are things that have been created by man that we don't know exactly all the extent of things that they do. Soft drinks, which are just straight sugar most of the time. We have NSAIDs, so non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. So that's your ibuprofen, your naproxen, some of your pharmaceutical things. I just took a webinar last week talking about how that causes leaky gut. There's been studies saying how these drugs loosen up your gut, and also then that might lead to autoimmune diseases. So it's kind of crazy there. Same with antibiotics. The same thing, that webinar said some antibiotics cause the leaky gut problem as well. So I talked about the topicals, the lotions, the makeups, air pollution, plastics. So we are just, all our stuff is packaged most of the time in plastics. And there's been some studies where they're just even testing umbilical blood for, newborn babies, that they're picking up trace levels of plastics in our bloodstreams now. So it's kind of interesting how that's just, we're deluded ourselves with these things. We have deodorants, which, you're putting on a very porous part of your body. And if you have aluminum in your deodorant, which most of them do, over-the-counter ones do, that aluminum can absorb into your body and can, liver's responsible for heavy metal clearing as well. So those are one things, to deal with. And vaccination ingredients. So, that's a big controversy. It's been for the last decade since I can remember. And I'm talking about ingredients, like the preservatives also in those. Maybe they have a purpose of the one unique thing. They want to stimulate artificial immunity, but it's also preservatives they put in there. Also, a lot of times they put attenuators or a heavy metal to make sure the body recognizes that it's like, hey, we're injecting you with something, pay attention, immune system, we want you to recognize we're doing something and stir you up. And a lot of times those are what cause the side effects on a lot of patients. It's not so much maybe the primary reason why you're getting the shot or whatever, it's the other things that are compounded into the ingredients with that. So just things that people are putting into their body, and things that we need to help our body cleanse out what we don't need. So toxins contribute to a lot of fatigue. Like I was talking about, like I kind of feel more lethargic, those kind of things when I notice I'm just not as good as I can be. Weight gain, our body actually, produces more fat to contain some of these toxins. So a lot of toxins are stored in fat as well. Reduced mental clarity, that's the foggy brain, and that is, If you have a foggy, can't think clearly, that's maybe because you got all this crap like floating in your bloodstream that you need to get out. You have skin issues, so exposure, so acne, all these other psoriasis. You know, that's another way our body tries to detoxify, is actually getting it out through our skin. And sometimes even asthma and lung issues are a result of that as well. And just joint discomfort, inflammation in the joints. So there's a lot of things that go on in our body that we could reset and reconnect with how things are supposed to work. So overview, I always like to have this slide on most of my talks. As a chiropractor, I always think, about the nervous system. I always want to not just crack bones and move bones, but I want to make sure that the nervous system is functioning at 100%, making sure all the nerves are communicating through the spinal cord and doing what it needs to do. And so I want all body systems all go. So that's what I do. I make sure to restore that communication of the nervous system with the brain, because it is the master control center, and that's primary. So we can throw all the nutrients we want at our body, but if you can't communicate properly, that necessarily is going to help you as good. My second choice is making sure we put the optimum nutrition. So this program is trying to help you restart. We put all the best nutrients in to give the body its best chance to do what it needs to do and heal and properly function. So optimize the best nutrition in your body, reduce toxins in your body. So try to eliminate some of these things we're talking about. And our body needs to move. We're built to move. So trying to increase your activity during this time is going to be better as well. So making sure you're getting some walks in. If you already have a regular exercise routine, keep that up. But if you don't have one, this is a good time to try to add something extra. So you're taking some toxins out, let's try to add exercise in or some other healthy habit. And then also making sure you're practicing a healthy mindset, attitude of gratitude. I tend to always feel more self-empowered. My self-esteem rises when I do this, because I'm like, I have control of this body. When I can say no to the bad stuff, I can say no to all these things that I'm tempted with. And when I say no, it's like, yes, I can do this, and that just makes me feel better about myself. Like, I can do anything. So keep that in mind. So this time around, I'm really focusing on keeping it simple. We're talking about the diet portion, everything, and keeping on the priority of this program. So first off, the main thing of priority of the program is trying to get you to know how to best eat. So the low carb style Mediterranean diet has been the most researched diet out there, saying it is the best for the human body. Now, every culture has a different thing. I myself have a gluten weakness, genetic gluten weakness, and a caffeine weakness. So I've already eliminated some of these things in my diet because I know genetically I'm weak. But also adding these healthy things, that part of the Mediterranean diet helps my body be even healthier. So what's good about this diet is it is a kind of gluten, dairy elimination as well. So it's partially an elimination diet, and so therefore when you go off of it, I recommend people to slowly add those things in, because then you can see if you have a sensitivity or not. So I'm going to do this portion this time around. We're going to talk about options of 2. So we'll talk about the next couple slides. And main thing is progress, not perfection. I had a star right over the perfection. And so the progress is, even if you don't do the diet great, even if you just say add the shakes in, replace one of your meals with the shakes, you're gonna get some results. But it's best to try to do the best you can. So if that's all you can do, pat yourself on the back. If you just switch out one meal with the shakes and do that through the 10 days or the 28 days or whatever time period you want to, that I consider is a great thing. Now, if you've never done any of these programs before, that's probably what's going to happen, because otherwise it's just too much. So perfection. I'm a perfectionist at heart, so I always want to do everything by the book. And I'll admit to you, I did do this diet about 7 or 8 years ago to the perfection, and I don't need to lose weight. I ended up losing 7 pounds that I didn't need to lose because I was so particular and trying not to eat the protein and eat whatever and not really listening to my body. And then it took me like 3 months to rebound and get everything back on track. So I realized, okay, I did the diet perfectly and I didn't listen to my intuition. So listen to yourself, listen to your body. If you need to have a breakdown and go and have those Ritz crackers, just try to not eat the whole box, have a handful, get it over with, and then move on. So it's just making sure you get back on the horse and try to just follow the program through as best you can. So also there's 3 different things I talk about in my book, particularly. I haven't talked about that in a while. Journey to Vibrant Health. I do mention this diet in my book, but it's like, do good. If you can't do good, go through the process. So you do the best you can. So like you have to go out, say there's a family event and you're doing this diet, look at the menu and see what's the best option. Maybe there's not great options. Maybe there's only good options, but try to find the best option on the menu that you can do. So, try to just move from the good, better, and great, just moving along. So every time I've done this diet, I've gotten better of how I do. I've eliminated things in my diet that I no longer even consider to eat anymore. So that's the thing, is just trying to do the best you can to make your body healthier and set yourself on that journey to like vibrant health, like I talk about. So, and then make a decision and just do it. Like make a commitment and just commit to it and do it. So now we're getting into the options. So there is 2 ways you can do this. You can just set aside, carve out 10, I usually say 10 plus days, or you can do 28 days. So we have books that have everything laid out. So the diets have some books. So we have the SP Balance book, and we have like this 1% of change that helps you with some recipes. So we have recipes on the website. So if you go to the Standard Press's website, they have a lot of resources with that. And so just continue on, like in the office, if you need help with anything, like what to eat. Most of us have done this program multiple times, and we can give you some tips on that. So, but make a choice, 10 days or 28 days. Like I'm going to say, I've been doing this so many years. If you've never done this before, don't set yourself up for failure, because you're not going to make it 28 days. Unless you're like my husband, that's gung-ho and like it's all or nothing kind of guy. If that's kind of your mindset and you're one of those people like you got to go big or go home, then go ahead and do the 28. But most people end up only making it about 9 to 10 days the first time they go through. So go ahead, commit to that. Okay, make sure you look at your schedule, trying to make sure there's no temptations, there's no parties, no birthday parties, no whatever, weddings coming up. Then you have now we're breaking it down to, we have 2 different programs. We have the SP Detox Balance program, and then we have the SP Complete Shakes, and then we have some detoxifying herbs that you can do. So one or the other, and we'll talk about those differences right now. So SP Complete options are, we have some vanilla and chocolate flavors shakes on that. And we have a vegan protein, which is pea protein or pumpkin seed proteins. So if you are one of those people that just like that plant-based nutrition and feel like you do really well with that, we can do the vegan shakes. Otherwise, if people know they do really good with whey, then we can do the whey. So we have both vanilla and chocolate in both of those. And then we have the SP Cleanse or the Live Co. So SP Cleanse is a cluster of a bunch of different herbs that help you. That one's more for people, I think, if they are trying to lose weight, maybe signs of heart disease, things like that. This one's a little bit better for those kind of people. The Live Co itself is the combination of herbs, 3 different herbs. Milk thistle is a popular one that most people know about, which is one that just stimulates the detoxifying properties in the liver to help you start that process. Now, the next one, the Detox Balance option, is a little bit more simpler. This is automatically vegan. So there is no whey protein in this one at all. We do have a chai flavored or unflavored one. And that's all you have to do on this one with the type of shakes we have. So it's just the flavors are different. Some people want to opt for the chocolate and vanilla. That one's a little bit more intense with the herbs. This one's a little bit gentler. So if you want to kind of have a little bit more intense, or you want a little bit more gentle, sometimes I'll if you come into the office, we can talk and I can kind of fit you into what would probably work best for you. So that's an option to, call the office and make an appointment. All of this month we are doing 10% on all our detoxification products. So, and what we need to do. So part of the program is do the best to avoid the foods that are just not good for us, that clog up the liver. So those trans fats, sugars, the refined foods, the processed foods, and condiments. So if you do have, say you make your own condiments, so you make your own ketchup or whatever, then have at it. If you know it's not got the high fructose corn syrup or the sugar, high fat, all those kind of things. If you make your own salad dressing, I'm fine with that. So the main thing is most condiments, if you're just buying over the counter, are loaded with artificial stuff in it. So that's the main thing. So if you can avoid that, and a lot of people don't realize how much dressing they consume or ketchup or whatever, and that does add to your fat content, how much fats adding to your calories and things. So that's another way to try to kind of reset that. So what to eat. So again, that low carb Mediterranean style diet. So that is mostly based around healthy proteins. So your cold water fish, your salmon, your tuna, your wild game, poultry, grass fed. Try to get antibiotic free the best you can. Meats, again, good, better, best. If you where you're at or on your budget, you can't do the best you can with that. I do recommend avoiding shellfish and pork because they are known to have a little bit more toxic contents in them, because pigs will eat anything and that's gotten translated into their tissue, and same with shellfish. They're bottom feeders. So they're kind of more toxic meats, so I just say avoid those at this time. So lentils and beans are really good also. I have patients that I've recommended the Amy's lentil soup, that say, like me for example, here at the office, I don't have a full kitchen that I can cook at, so that's one of my go-tos to stock up into the cabinets here when I'm needing a lunch, something to keep in the cabinets for lunch. So a lentil soup, or just get your whatever way you want to prepare it. So those are some important things. So this program is not just the shakes, and some people can do that. I don't recommend this. I want you to actually learn how to eat and experiment with food. It's just, broaden your horizons and see what other things that you can eat. They say about the average American, we eat the same 5 meals over and over again. So open it up, add some more variety into your palate. So that'd be great. Healthy fats is another thing we need to do. So I do advocate walnuts. They're really rich in omega-3s. Omega-3 is really important for brain health and skin health and overall anti-inflammatory. So flax seeds the same, so that's good. The thing about flax seeds is try to get them whole if you can. If you've already ground them up or bought them ground, then they've lost a lot of their medicinal properties, and they're just mostly fiber at that point. So just some things like that. Avocados, which I have demonstration there. So, avocado is a really good thing if you're struggling with hunger on this diet, and you should not be hungry. So if you're hungry, that means either you're not getting enough protein or the healthy fats. So I tell people try to get an avocado or do the nuts, a handful of the nuts, especially maybe that nighttime, at that 7:30 time, if you're one of those munchers at night, trying to make sure to just those more complex foods that help digest slower and keep the hunger away. So olive oils and coconut oils, and I forgot to add avocado oil is my new favorite that I've found I've been cooking with, and I really like that one as well to do. And then also trying to go do your best with your fruits and vegetables. So I say twice as many vegetables as fruits. Most of us do the opposite. We like to eat our sweet stuff. So we want to try to do, I say, the vegetables with your meals and then do the fruits for snacks. So that's usually how, rule of thumb there. Obviously, do the best you can in whatever way that works for you. So with that, what to drink? Lots of water. So water. A lot of people think old time 80s detox things and they were doing crazy things. And I've had people come in and have done like the maple syrup and lemon water and all that. Those diets, I frown upon those. They're very harsh on the digestive system, very harsh on the body. They're not feeding you, or they're not fueling your cells. Yeah, you might get some push and kind of get some stimulation in the liver, but I've actually had patients that had bad side effects after doing those diets. So I tell people, no, that's not what we want. We actually want to eat and nourish your body while you're trying to get the toxins out. So that's great to get the toxins out, but you need to have a way to help the body heal and repair after that and during that. So, but water is really important to help flush that, flush the bloodstream, flush the kidneys, flush all this junk that we're trying to get out. Also herbal teas. So try to stick with the non-caffeinated. So I will let you know, I have people can't give up that caffeine. They've done this detox program. They said, I can't do it. And then I say, again, the good, better, best philosophy. Okay, can you cut it back at least? Can you cut it in half? Can you cut it down to 1 cup? There's been some studies, 1 cup a day is actually beneficial. So if you can cut it down, and cut out all the sugars. If it's the Starbucks latte that's got, a zillion calories in it and a ton of sugar, then can you just cut it back to, black with cream or whatever. It's just trying to modify it if you seriously need that caffeine, especially if you get the headache afterwards. That's probably telling you should cut it out because you're having a negative withdrawal effect. And that means the body it's not good for the body long term. But you can have teas. You can do the green tea, which does have some caffeine, so maybe even switch the coffee out with the green tea. I personally, so I already started this program. I officially started, partially started last week. So I'm trying to say, commitment-wise, I started Tuesday, but my husband wanted to start last week, so I've kind of been doing it. And I've been doing my tea with honey. So I've been not doing sugar, but I used to do honey and sugar and then cream, and so now I've been cutting it down just so even myself, I'm just not doing it perfect, but I'm doing better than I was, and I'm happy about my results with that. So you can always do peppermint and orange tea and coconut tea. There's all these other flavors of tea out there. You can do that. If you are one of those people that can't stand the water, also you can add the flavor to it. You can add a strawberry, some berries to it. You can do they say the seltzer water that's flavored. That's kind of my husband. He loves the bubbly, and so that's what he's all switched out. So that's been helping him so he can be the best he can on this. Nut milk, so unsweetened almond or coconut milk you can do with this as well. I like to do it with a shake, so I'm going to show you how to do the shake once I'm done with this slide. And avoid alcohol. Alcohol is sugar. It is a form of sugar. So that is one of the things we want to try to eliminate. Obviously, everybody knows, alcohol is not good on the liver either. So, just trying to avoid that as best you can. So, let's see, it's counterproductive to this program. And extras. So, seasonings. You can do any natural seasoning you want. So you want rosemary, you want to flavor stuff. It's not saying this is supposed to be bland. You can season stuff. Just avoid making sure, avoid the MSG, anything that's in there. Look at your seasonings. Try to get natural seasoning, or make sure get the fresh rosemary, get the fresh, what else I was thinking of, oregano, fresh stuff, and cook with more of the fresh things. It's been nice this summer. We've had some patients actually bring in some fresh herbs from their gardens because they've had abundance. So we've brought some of that home. I have my mother-in-law right now has got a really good rosemary plant going. So she keeps bringing rosemary to her house. So that's been really cool. And my husband is more of the cook, as if you've watched my programs in the past. And then I have cinnamon on here. So I'm going to show you that trick in a minute. I have, snacks, so seeds and nuts, kale chips. So my husband, we got an air fryer last Christmas, and he's really rocking out the kale chips right now with the air fryer. So he's got a really good recipe that he's got offline, and to make kale chips and make them like with the like chili powder and stuff, and they actually taste really good. And he's anti-green guy, so a guy that's making kale chips. That's usually I can't get him to eat stuff, so he's coming a long way with that. So you can do like the dehydrated fruits and vegetables that they have now. So again, 18 years ago when I tried to do this diet, there was none of this stuff. You couldn't get this stuff at the grocery store. So the nut butters, that saves us too. That's maybe another thing that you could do for that like dessert snack. If you need something at like that 7:30 or whatever, you're just like starving, trying to just restore. And then with that being said, make sure to do tune in. If you're hungry, check, is it here you're hungry in your stomach, or is it your brain? Because if it's your brain, it's the withdrawal. It's like, check in. It's not, a lot of times it's our brain saying, no, feed me. And you're like, no, you're fine. So listen to where the communication is coming in. Usually most of the time, the like sugar cravings stop about like 3 or 4 days into the program. So, about halfway through, you should be like, oh, I feel great. You could look at a donut or look at something and be fine. Another trick is to make sure to eliminate, like I cleaned out my refrigerator, I cleaned out my pantry. So of anything that would be a temptation, maybe talk to people at work if they got that candy dish that drives me nuts on their desk. Be like, can you just put it down for like a week, 10 days? Just can you help me a salad and just do that for me? That would be great. Or any family members that like to tempt you with those kind of things. And grains, you can have grains on this. It is not paleo, but it's saying more of the gluten-free grains. So your quinoa, your wild rice, and like your brown rice. Let me see if we got that. Before I go into other recommendations, I wanted to just show you my little cheats, because I talk about that I like crunchy stuff. So I don't cook. I talk about my husband's mostly a cook. I do cook if I have to, but my husband's mostly the primary cook. So, snacks and things like that are my thing, especially here at the office. I'm here sometimes 11 hours, and I like crunchy stuff. So I love that he's been making the kale chips. So this is like dehydrated chickpeas. So that's great. Like it's not a cracker. It's not whatever. They're barbecue, so it's flavored with some like chili powder and sunflower seed oil. So and onion powder, tomato powder, garlic powder, so like all good stuff, just seasoned with that. They dehydrate the chickpeas. If you're really creative at home, I'm sure you can figure out how to do that, but I'm not. So that's like one of my things. I like the crunchies, so I'm like, that's kind of my thing, my go-to. So that's one of my cheats, whatever. I do like, trying to get the trail mix without the M&Ms and the chocolate in it. So, this is cranberry and raisins, some mixed nuts together. So I eat that a lot at the office on my snack break. At home, so this is quinoa. This is organic quinoa and brown rice with garlic, and it's, again, all good stuff. So I'm not saying, yes, try to stay away from the processed stuff as much as possible. This is not great. It'd be great to make it myself at home, but I know I'm not going to do that. So this is kind of not, it's the better category, I say. It's like, so this is already then. I just got to warm it up, and it's ready to go. I'm ready to eat it. I don't have to wait the 20 minutes or whatever long it takes to make quinoa. And you can tell I don't cook because I don't even know. My husband deals with that. So, but it's just got like salt and again garlic powder and sorry seasoned kind of thing. So this is kind of my little cheats that you can do some things and still stay on this diet and try to do the best you can on it. So I'm going to make a shake real quick. So what I usually do in the morning when I do the shake is it's a couple scoops of the powder. This is half water and do I have a little dingy thing in there? I think I do. I have the shaker thing in here. So I have water. I do half water. I usually do 3 to 4 ounces of water and then 3 to 4 ounces of either almond milk or coconut milk. So that's That's my little trick. And then I add nice scoops. So we got this measured out already. And since it is fall, we're going into like the pumpkin season. So I like to either do cinnamon, or today I decided to do pumpkin spice, which is your mixture of cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice and clove or whatever. And then I'm just shaking it up. Okay. So do a couple shakes. It's pretty good. And then ta-da, I have my breakfast or whatever, my lunch or whatever. So that's that. And I'm going to just pour this out. Anybody in the audience want to take this? Okay. I'm going to give this one to you. Good. You're good. Little bit. So what I like is this is really simple. Again, with me, like, I don't like being in the kitchen. It's quick and easy, and I'm done. Also, you could package it like I just did. I prepared this morning before I went to work, and so prepared it before I went to work, and then I was ready to go with that. So sometimes, like, if I don't do this is the unflavored one, and then I just added the spices into it, but it really goes really good with the chai. And you know, it's nice. I drink it on the way to work, and then I'm usually washing the cup here at work, but it's pretty simple. It should be no-brainer. So there's that. If you don't like that, you know, just the straight shake like that, then there is plenty of recipes on the Standard Process website. A lot of times I like to add blueberries and banana. Those are kind of my go-to. And another trick there is if you feel like you want that ice cream. When your bananas start to turn a little bit, you get the spots. I think it's the draft bananas is what my office manager calls them. So we like peel it. If you dice them up and lay them flat inside of a baggie and put them in the freezer, like when you have that sweet craving, to grab just like 2 or 3 of those, and they do kind of taste like an ice cream. So just to kind of corral if you're addicted to the ice cream, to get you off of that. I mean, there's still bananas are not technically really recommended so much on this diet because they have a high sugar content, but it's better than ice cream. So, you know, just again, another little kind of better middle ground. You're not totally going bad on it, but you're doing something. So other recommendations while you're doing this program is, you know, exercise regularly. You know, we already talked about that. You know, you want to move that bloodstream to try to help it filter through the liver and get everything moving. And, you know, make sure you are getting enough sleep. So if you're one of those that are constantly sleep deprived, you're going to be fatigued when you're you know, triggering your body to do some healing, and the body will want some rest for that. So try to make sure you get that 7 to 8 hours sleep, and try to just plan for that. Go to bed early, and, you know, try to see how much stress and just the outside environment, let it not affect you as much. So trying to make sure you're doing like mental down breaks, taking like meditative breaks. Like there's like all these apps, Calm I think is one of them. I've recommended this in other videos. Trying to like start the day with gratitude and a positive attitude, saying I got this, I can do this. You know, try to not talk negatively to yourself. I recommend not watching the news because it's usually all negative. So try to stay away from those things. It's just 10 days. Trust me, I have enough patience, you know, patience when people tell me if something's going on, like if there's an earthquake or something. People let you know if there's something you really need to know going on in the world. So just maybe try to shut that out for a little while, just so it doesn't add to your mindset. So what I like, summary of this, is that it is simple. It's pretty nice. You know, just try to eat that nutrient-rich diet. You know, eliminate the non-foods, the caffeine, the bad stuff, the bad habits. Try to increase the water intake, get rid of the toxins. Try to make sure you move, and just, you know, show self-compassion through this. This is the main thing I talk about. Again, that progress, not perfection, and Usually most of the containers that they come in is about 20 shakes is in each container. So the program is where you start with 1 and ramp up to 2 and ramp down. Now, usually you have a couple shakes left over, so I say you can still use those for breakfast. That's usually what I do. Throughout the year, I'm still doing usually two shakes a week of that's my breakfast before on the way into the office in the morning. So you can still use those shakes to kind of keep the body nutrients and keep that liver fed and helping it do what it needs to do for the constant bombarding of toxins that we're involved in. So, I love the program. They've done a ton of research on it. They've had diabetic clinics that have done great research showing blood work, cholesterol's lowered, obviously people lose weight because they're changing their lifestyle, but blood sugar, cholesterol, a bunch of things, blood work improvements that they say in A1Cs lowering. So they've had good research on these. So it's safe, it's easy, it's effective. It's a good way to remove toxins in your body. Here at Northern Light Care, like I said, most of us have done it. We do have a new employee that she has not yet gone through the program, but I'm sure she will in the next year with us. And we can call us if you're struggling anyway. Also, the website standardprocess.com has lots of support as well, and they do have like Facebook groups and things like that too to support you through it. We are for this month, September. Usually is the month we're doing 10% off products. If you're not from the area, we are willing to ship to you, but also if it's not during this month, you can order through our website. You will not get the discount at that, but you can get the products sent straight to you. So now is the time to do this. One way to see if you should take this for sure is you can go on the Standard Process website, www.standardprocess.com. Standard Process Purification Program Toxicity. That's got a questionnaire you can fill out. So I think it's 20 questions, pretty simple. And it'll give you a score, and it'll tell you, oh yeah, you really need to do this. You can also call to make an appointment in the office if you want to get dialed in to kind of get what's recommended best for you. Or you can just call to the office to order. Also, if you want more information on just how to live more vibrant health, lifestyle choices, I do have a book on Amazon, Journey to Vibrant Health, and call to action. Just give us a call. This is the office number, 815-344-0113. You can text or call that number. And my website is thedoctorinu.com, all the words spelled out. Take care and healthy detoxing.